Sexuality is who you go to bed with. Gender identity is who you go to bed as.
I've done so much for the trans community, bringing this issue forward, put millions of dollars through my foundation into groups. And
remember when Caitlyn Jenner was Hollywood's golden girl? Magazines couldn't get enough of her. Talk shows were falling over themselves to book her, but now Hollywood can't stand her. What happened? Caitlyn went from hero to zero faster than you can say woke, and it's all because she dared to speak her mind. Now she's got the whole of Tinseltown shook, and we're gonna show you why. Remember when Caitlyn Jenner was plastered on every magazine cover from Vanity Fair to Sports Illustrated? Back in 2015, she was the toast of Tinseltown.
Swimmer Leah Thomas becoming the first ever transgender athlete to win a Division I national championship.
But I am getting so tired of this woke world. I've done so much for the trans community, bringing this issue forward.
Coming out as transgender, Caitlyn became an instant icon for the LGBTQ+ community. Everyone wanted a piece of her story. She was brave, she was bold, and she was breaking barriers left and right. Fast forward to now, and you'd hardly recognize the Caitlyn Jenner we're seeing today. She's not just distancing herself from the trans community, she's full-on bashing it. It's like she's turned her back on the very people who supported her when she needed it most. Talk about a plot twist, right? Caitlyn's not pulling any punches these days. She's gone on record saying she hates woke culture. Can you believe it?
Primarily Bruce raised them, and kind of Caitlyn is enjoying their life with them.
I remember 15 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever it was when this whole gay marriage issue came up.
The same culture that celebrated her transition is now in her crosshairs. She's even said that wokeness is bad publicity for trans people. It's like she's forgotten where she came from. So what's behind this dramatic shift? It's like Caitlyn's done a complete 180. Some people think she's just trying to stay relevant, jumping on the anti-woke bandwagon to keep her name in the headlines. Others reckon she's finally showing her true colors. Maybe all that Kardashian fame went to her head. But here's where it gets really interesting. Caitlyn's not just talking the talk, she's walking the walk. And by walk, I mean she's sprinting in the opposite direction of her former allies. She's come out swinging in support of banning trans athletes from competing in women's sports. Yeah, you heard that right. The same Caitlyn Jenner who won Olympic gold as Bruce is now saying trans women shouldn't compete with other women.
Put out a tweet that said, well, at least I had the balls to stand up for women. And, you know, that's the bigger story is the woke world is out there and we're fighting it. And people have to stand up.
It's a stance that's got people scratching their heads. How can someone who's been through the trans experience herself turn around and advocate for policies that many see as discriminatory? It's like she's pulled the ladder up behind her, leaving other trans folks to fend for themselves. This isn't just a little disagreement or a difference of opinion. We're talking about a full-blown ideological shift. Caitlyn's gone from being the poster child for trans acceptance to being the black sheep of the LGBTQ+ community. It's a fall from grace that's left a lot of people feeling betrayed and confused. But wait, it gets even wilder.
And all of those things combined, and I find sports, that's a way to prove my masculinity. Yeah. That's the way I can go out on the athletic field and kick everybody's butt. Not a spokesperson for the trans community. I'm only really a spokesperson for my journey and then take my platform, which I have, and see if I can make a difference in the world.
Caitlyn's not content with just taking on the trans community. Oh no, she set her sights on an even bigger target. Hold on to your hats, folks, because Caitlyn Jenner is about to take on the entirety of woke Hollywood, and let me tell you, it's not gonna be pretty. Alright, so Caitlyn's pissed off the trans community, but that was just the warm-up act. Now she's going after the big fish, and Hollywood's elite are not gonna like what she has to say. You won't believe who's in her crosshairs now. Caitlyn Jenner's got a new target, and it's the entire woke Hollywood machine. She's not just content with ruffling a few feathers in the trans community anymore. Nah, she's decided to take on the whole damn entertainment industry. And let me tell you, she's not pulling any punches. Jenner's using every platform she can get her hands on to launch her attack on what she calls woke entertainment. She's all over social media, giving interviews left and right, and even starting her own political action committee. It's like she's on a one-woman mission to tear down everything Hollywood stands for these days.
I've said from the beginning, I have no problem with Leah Thomas. Leah Thomas has followed the rules, and she's able to swim because of that. She's playing within the rules. What I've said from the beginning is the rules aren't tough enough.
Now, we all know Hollywood likes to pat itself on the back for being oh so progressive. They're all about inclusivity and representation and all that jazz. But Caitlyn's calling BS on the whole thing. She's saying what a lot of people have been thinking but were too scared to say out loud, that Hollywood's version of wokeness is nothing but a big fat joke. Get this, Caitlyn's gone and called out Disney, of all companies. Yeah, the House of Mouse isn't safe from her wrath. She's mocking them for pandering to absurdity with their woke messaging. Can you imagine? Caitlyn Jenner taking on Mickey Mouse? It's like David versus Goliath, but with more sparkle and way more drama.
That said, well, at least I had the balls to stand up for women and girls in sports. Well, that goes viral.
Are you going to date men, women? What are you doing?
This is, and we deal with it in our show, a tremendous issue in the trans community.
But here's the kicker. Some conservatives are eating this up. They're looking at Caitlyn and thinking, hey, maybe she's not so bad after all. It's like she's become this unlikely voice of reason for people who are sick and tired of feeling like they're walking on eggshells all the time. Who would have thought that Caitlyn Jenner, of all people, would become a darling of the right? So how are other celebs reacting to Caitlyn's little crusade? Well, it's a mixed bag. Some are cheering her on, thinking it's about time someone called out the hypocrisy in Hollywood. But others, they're distancing themselves faster than you can say cancel culture. It's like watching a real-time demonstration of how quickly the tide can turn in Tinseltown. And let's not forget about Caitlyn's former allies in the entertainment industry.
Honestly, I would love to talk to Leah Thomas. I would love to sit down for an hour and discuss this issue with her. The trans athlete is such a small part of athletics.
The same people who were falling over themselves to support her a few years ago, they're not exactly thrilled with her new stance. We're talking major backlash here. Some are calling her a traitor, others are saying she's just desperate for attention. It's getting ugly, folks. But you know what? Caitlyn's not backing down. In fact, she's doubling down. She's gone and launched a political action committee called Fairness First. And get this, it's all about keeping transgender women out of women's sports. Talk about stirring the pot. It's like she's taken everything Hollywood stands for and thrown it right back in their faces.
Said, hey, we can work it out. And I was totally committed to working it out, and I loved her. She's a great woman, and she turned my life around. Part of your core, it's part of what you do. I would like my legacy to be that I made a difference.
So here we are, folks. Caitlyn Jenner's gone from trans icon to conservative darling. Talk about a plot twist, right? One minute she's on the cover of Vanity Fair, the next she's bashing the very community that embraced her. It's enough to make your head spin. But here's the million-dollar question. Is Jenner actually helping or hurting the causes she claims to support? She thinks she's doing the trans community a favor by telling it like it is. But is she really, or is she just throwing fuel on an already raging fire? And what's next in Caitlyn's war on woke culture? Will she run for office again, start her own talk show, or will Hollywood decide they've had enough of her antics? One thing's for sure, this drama's far from over. Grab your popcorn, folks. This show's just getting started.